that's not okay.
No, cloud to ground lightning. You're looking at this video coming out of Florida, out of Oviedo.
He sold a gun and some ammo to the officer. When officers try to arrest Harris, he takes off running, but one officer catches up to him and wrestles him to the ground.
Stop fighting! He shot me! He shot me! You hear me?
In Brazil, thousands of Sao Paulo residents have come out on the streets to protest the corruption in the government of President Dilma Rousseff. Sao Paulo residents joined the demonstrators in at least 11 states and federal capital district on a Sunday. And this has been the second round of mass demonstrations against President Rousseff in 1 month. On March the 15th, hundreds of thousands have demonstrated against the corruption in Brazil, with many calling for Rousseff's removal. A poll released on Saturday showed almost 2/3 of Brazilians favor the president's impeachment.
A police sting in Oklahoma goes horribly wrong, and it's all caught on camera. Eric Harris was shot and killed by an undercover officer during that sting. He sold a gun and some ammo to the officer. When officers try to arrest Harris, he takes off running, but one officer catches up to him and wrestles him to the ground. But when the officer goes to use his taser on Harris, he fires his gun instead, killing Harris. The incident is still under investigation.
Roll on your stomach. Now. Yeah. I'm sorry. He shot me. He got him. Oh, God. Stop fighting. What's the girl? He shot me. He shot me. You hear me? Oh, God. Oh, he shot me. I didn't do shit. He shot me, man. Oh, my God. You didn't do shit. You didn't do shit. You hear me? I'm losing my breath. His hands back.
More debris from last week's tornadoes in Illinois. Well, it's showing up in Walworth, Racine, and Kenosha County. WISN 12's chief meteorologist Mark Baden found a personal banking check while golfing in Racine County. And 12 News' Chris Cloninger tracked down the owner in Rochelle, some 82 miles away.
Open fields as far as the eye can see. After Thursday night's tornado managed to devastate this row of houses in Rochelle, Illinois. Piles of rubble, which Becky Bailey says scattered for miles.
There was a Bible found out here in this field. They're trying to track it down. There's been records of families.
She missed the twister, but her friend Dave Shabacker wasn't that lucky. His house and everything inside, including his bank checks, were taken by the storm. This is where that check originated, off of Highway 64 in Rochelle, a strip of about 4 ranch houses that were leveled, and it was found 82 miles away on Highway 20 in Racine County. Bailey was shocked by our find.
That far, yes, that's quite a ways.
We called Dave Shabacker, who's now living with family, and our call wasn't the first he's received.
I found out somebody else found a credit card a ways away too, the bar someplace.
He's sure most of his belongings he'll never see again, but he's thankful his family survived, which, judging by what's left, wasn't an easy task.
We actually got about a 12-minute warning that it was coming, and my cousin texted me a picture of it coming our way and warned us that it was coming our way, so we actually got up to the window there and looked at it. We could see it coming.
As far as the check, they stopped using that bank back in 1998. In Rochelle, meteorologist Chris Gloninger, WISN 12 News.
The 2 local Red Cross volunteers are in Illinois right now. They're helping with recovery efforts in some of the hardest hit neighborhoods there from that tornado. And the Red Cross says that they're bringing food and water and other supplies needed to even clean up. Both of the volunteers say they've seen the devastation and they're ready to get to work.
It's a blessing. And it's a blessing for me and for us to be able to help.
It's a little spooky. It's scary when you see people when they lose the things that they've lost.
You can also help the tornado victims. The CEO of the local Red Cross says the best way is always just to donate money, blood, or becoming a volunteer yourself. We have a link for all that information on our website, WISN.com.
Well, Wolf, tonight, Officer Michael Slager and the North Charleston Police are being sued over another incident, as you mentioned, involving Slager and the use of force. Julius Wilson is the man's name. He and his lawyer suing them for civil rights violations, suing Slager, suing the North Charleston Police. This stems from a traffic stop in North Charleston in August of last year. This is the dash cam video of that traffic stop. Julius Wilson is pulled over by another officer. The dash cam video shows that officer talking to Wilson. The officer goes to his own vehicle, comes back, tells Wilson he's driving with a suspended license and he needs to get out of the car, that he's taking him to jail. Slager, the second guy there, the second policeman there, approaches the scene. Here's what happens next.
All right, boss. You do me a favor, step out for me. Just go ahead and step out. I'll explain it to you.
I'm in the picture.
I got you.
I just know you're being recorded right now.
Okay, that's cool. Go ahead and step out. You're driving under suspension, so you're going to go to jail.
No, I'm not.
Okay.
No, I'm not.
Here's the deal.
Yeah, officer. Officer.
Right. Step out.
Officer.
All right, here's the deal.
Officer.
I've asked you nicely to step out.
I've complied with all y'all rules and regulations.
All right,
now
so
I'm asking y'all.
Now I'm asking you to step out. I'm asking you to step out the car, sir. I'm asking you nicely. Please step out the car. If you don't step out the car, I'm going to assist you out of the car.
It's like the...
You are under arrest. Please step out of the car.
Under arrest, officer?
Step out of the car. Step out of the car.
What am I being under arrest for, officer?
Step out of the car. Now, this person that you're going to swear. Step out of the car. Keep thinking about something. Get out of the car. Get out of the car.
Y'all freaking all y'all done break up the car. Alright.
Back up, I'm gonna tase. Back up, I'm gonna tase. Big or
Oh shit! Oh shit!
Turn over! Turn over, you're gonna get hit again!
Julius Wilson and his attorney claim he was tased after he was put into submission. The video, at least at the outset, seems to support that. We reached out to the North Charleston Police and to Slager's attorney for response to this lawsuit, to that incident. We have not heard back, Wolf.
Yeah, that's not okay.
Oh, cloud to ground lightning. You're looking at this video coming out of Florida, out of Oviedo. Lightning bolt strikes a tree in central Florida.
Yeah, that driver in Seminole County says he was driving in those heavy thunderstorms yesterday when that bolt and many others hit the trees around 200, 300 feet right in front of him.
boom. Take a look at that lightning bolt in Florida on Monday. Crazy stuff. Imagine you're driving down the road and you see that. A little bit unnerving. Yeah, pretty dangerous stuff there. That's one thing we got to keep in mind over the next couple of days in the south. The chance for thunder and lightning, of course, but, you know, also that chance for flooding. We've talked a lot about severe weather over the last couple of weeks, and we've had a lot of active severe weather. But with this, over the next several days, this southern deluge, we're mainly talking about just a lot of rain. There will be little bits of severe weather here and there, but, I mean, 3 to 5 inches of rain through Friday, a place like New Orleans, yeah, I mean, that's going to be enough to cause some flooding issues. So that's going to be the main concern just about every day through the rest of the week.
No, it ain't stuck. He just ain't trying to turn it over.
Oh, Ali's here. He wants 2 people per wire.
There it is again, look.
Oh, hell to the no.
Hey, John.
Here's Ellie. What are you doing?
The wire. And Ali's here.
What the? There it is.
You before you got it clean.
Yeah. What the?
Right there. See that?
Now, in this segment, we're going to look at evidence that from Florida to California, the American military is training to take on the American public, and that the police are playing martial law. Take a look at this video from Florida, for example. This is a cop who pulled over someone who evidently, if you listen to the conversation, had flipped a bird at this officer.
I'm really getting pulled over by a tank right now.
Yes, sir.
You know, the Supreme Court actually ruled that you're legally allowed to flick off police officers. Okay. Stand between the headlights. I'm getting...
Stand between the headlights where I told you to.
Yes,
if I have to ask you again, you will be put in handcuffs and arrested for resisting. Extending your arm out the driver's side window of a vehicle and flicking somebody off is an improper hand signal. There are legitimate hand signals to use.
So I'd ask you, what's more offensive? Flipping somebody a bird, exercising your free speech rights, or the cops playing at martial law? We have cameras too. Nevertheless, they start to talk about what the government does, and listen to this admission from the LA Times. Just throw this in as a matter of fact. The U.S. Department of Defense is developing video monitoring technology called Mind's Eye to predict crime before it happens. And they say, yeah, this is kind of like Minority Report. Now stop and think about that. Not only is this pre-crime, but we have the Department of Defense working on a pre-crime scenario. Sounds like NDAA, doesn't it? Detention by the military without being charged by with a crime for an indefinite period of time. That's something we should all be very worried about. But take a look at this picture that we got from another reporter on the street. A citizen reporter sent us these trucks. He says this was in Meridian, Mississippi, near the intersection of Interstate 20 and 59. He says, I followed them to where they were headed south on 59. That's heading towards Hattiesburg, which is home to Camp Shelby, which is listed on the original Jade Helm map. Now, look at the picture closely. Do you see these trucks? Look at the 3% logo on this truck. They're training people to look at the Patriot movement, going right down the script provided by the Southern Poverty Law Center. And of course, there was another admission at the dirty bomb drill in California that we were uninvited to. Evidently now the government is going to set in judgment as to whether or not they like our reporting and not give us access. But of course, citizen journalists showed up anyway. And we got some great clips. We had this clip that showed over the weekend, raw footage of the drills where the military is exercising against civilians. Doesn't look like they're trying to help anybody. Doesn't look like they're trying to respond to a dirty drill. No, they're responding to a crowd yelling racist. And then later on, we have this bombshell video that we've got from CourageSowers.com. We're going to talk to Keith Johnson now. A bombshell video showing the crowd yelling, "I'm a sovereign citizen. I don't have to listen to you."
And one of the actors just shouted out, "I am a sovereign citizen. I refuse to recognize you guys."
Yeah.
I think you can
play
hear my
that
voice
footage.
on there. That was interesting.
Let's play that footage now, guys. Let's roll that footage.
I'm a sovereign citizen. I refuse to recognize you guys. I refuse to recognize you.
That was interesting.
4 years since the earthquake and tsunami which caused such catastrophic damage, this is the first view inside one of the reactors at Fukushima. The specifically designed transformer robot was sent inside reactor number 1 to take these images, to record the temperature and, crucially, the radiation levels. At the bottom right of the picture, the radiation level is measured in sieverts per hour. It varies as the robot moves through the reactor. At these levels, a human would survive for a matter of minutes. Most electronic devices would fail too, and even this one, specially designed, failed after just 3 hours. But it was enough to get important new information.
And dozens of people are headed to Washington, D.C. at this hour, all in the name of justice. March to Justice set off from New York yesterday. They will walk 250 miles over the span of 8 days to protest all of the recent police shootings involving white officers and African Americans. Once the marchers reach the Capitol, they will hold a rally and concert at the National Mall. That's scheduled for a week from today. They will also want to hand deliver a proposed bill to lawmakers to put an end to racial injustice and police-related deaths.
Rain that we saw yesterday evening is causing problems across central Florida. In Volusia County, some residents worry that this is what they will see every time it rains until something changes. And there is still at least one road closed in Osceola County right now. West 2's Stuart Moore is here to explain all of these water woes. Stuart.
Well, Michelle, let's start with Osceola County, where heavy rains have caused a big problem in that area. This is in Kissimmee, south of Ponciana Boulevard at Pleasant Hill Road. It's closed due to flooding there. Now, if you are heading to Liberty High School in northbound lanes, look for detour signs to get around it. Meanwhile, over in Deltona, Tivoli Street and Wheeling has been the scene of repeated area flooding. One woman we spoke with said it's caused thousands of dollars in damage to her home in the past, and a new water drainage pump was installed to alleviate the stormwater flooding problem on their street. But Monday, this area saw heavy rainfall again, and despite the new pump, the flooding of the past came back.
They need to fix this thing once and for all and stop dragging their feet. It was built to solve this problem, so we're just really frustrated.
The mayor says he's not sure when the timetable for the entire project is expected to be done. They hope to have it complete before the summer rains begin.
A massive agricultural fire got completely out of control in the Siberian Republic of Khakassia. This is in Russia back on Sunday. Look at some of these pictures. Can you imagine that happening in your community? This was an absolutely tragic event. Authorities are reporting that at least 23 people were killed, over 100 injured, more than 1,000 homes and 38 villages were damaged or completely destroyed. Now, 5,000 people are homeless right now. The fire was actually started by farmers just burning grass in their fields. And of course, there's a big weather angle here with strong wind that contributed to the fire spreading so quickly. It actually took 6,000 firefighters along with air support to finally extinguish the fire. Luckily, they were eventually successful. I'm Ari Sarsalari, the Weather Channel.
Now, a second cruise ship with dozens of sick passengers is at dock in San Diego. This just happened within the last hour here. Sky 10 overhead when it arrived just in the last 30 minutes. The CDC says about 116 people on board the Royal Caribbean ship Legend of the Seas became sick from an unknown cause. This follows yesterday's arrival of a separate cruise ship. This was the Celebrity, where 112 passengers and crew members came down with norovirus. In that case, cruise hosed down the Celebrity Infinity yesterday after it docked in San Diego. The ship was scheduled to leave on another cruise and is now sterilized and back at sea.
A volunteer sheriff's deputy in Oklahoma faces a manslaughter charge in the death of an unarmed black man. 73-year-old insurance executive Robert Bates fired one shot during the man's arrest. Investigators say that he intended to use his taser, not his gun. Elaine Quijano of our digital network CBSN is here looking at the details of Bates' history with the sheriff's office. Elaine, good morning.
Good morning. Under Oklahoma law, if convicted of second-degree manslaughter, Bates could face 4 years in state prison. The Tulsa County Reserve deputy said he was sorry immediately after he shot Eric Harris. Well, now Bates' policing experience is under the microscope, as well as donations he made to the sheriff's office.
I need to roll on your stomach. Now. Oh, I shot him. I'm sorry.
Reserve Deputy Bob Bates might have meant to pull his taser, but fired his revolver, shooting Eric Harris in the back.
You've got to see, there's no way an officer can get this confused for this.
73-year-old Bates was charged Monday with second-degree manslaughter.
The circumstances were not intentional. It was an accident. And this unfolded in front of him very rapidly.
You'll see that Mr. Bates has a yellow taser strapped to his chest. He has a .357 revolver in his right hand.
The Tulsa Police Department says Bates worked for them for 1 year in the 1960s. That's a different force than the Tulsa County Sheriff's Office, where Bates was a volunteer reserve deputy. According to documents provided by the Sheriff's Office, Bates has been a longtime benefactor, buying vehicles and equipment and even a $5,000 machine that extracts fingerprints from evidence. Bates was assigned to the Sheriff's Violent Crimes Task Force on April 2nd, while it carried out a sting operation.
It's a Luger. It's a Luger. German Luger.
Eric Harris was seen on video during the operation targeting illegal guns, trying to sell a gun to an undercover operative. He ran away and resisted arrest.
He shot me! I'm losing my breath.
At a press conference on Monday, Eric Harris's brother, Andre, said the day after the 44-year-old was killed, Andre met with sheriff officials, including a sheriff's chaplain, in a Quick Trip convenience store parking lot.
You were saying that you would have somebody contact me, be prepared to have somebody contact. Okay, I'll appreciate it.
I'll tell you up front, if you have an attorney, then attorneys believe these things be true.
The sheriff asked me, he said, did you hire a lawyer? And I said yes, and he told me if you hire a lawyer, it will gump things up. We don't want to gump this thing up.
CBS This Morning originally received the surveillance video without audio. Late last night, we reached out to the Tulsa County Sheriff's Office, and they urged the Harris family attorney to release that audio. As you just heard, the attorney did send that to us just hours before this broadcast. We called the Sheriff's Office again for comment, but have not heard back. Charlie?
Elaine, thanks.